be 3/4 of the way through, and if I just happen to come across it, that's what we're watching. So it's done.
I got to finish this last quarter, honey. I'll be ready in 20 minutes.
Casey and I don't know how many times Casey and I have quoted that movie or just made comments about, again, multi-pass or Corbin, my man, whatever. It's so it looks like we are live on the tubes. Another thing is, you are episode 265. We have not figured out how to do this yet. We will screw this up at some point. I'm warning you. And I apologize in advance. Hey, what's up, Adam? Adam's been sending me some. Adam has sent me some.
Why am I not seeing us as live?
We're there. Adam's been sending me some Instagram reels of dumb people doing dumb things.
On motorcycles.
Oh man.
Ooh, harsh. No, these were construction workers doing construction worker thing.
Yeah, the motorcycle stuff come later.
That's going to be after today's conversation. That's going to be all about today's conversation. I feel. Am I missing something? I feel like I.
OBS. I'm sorry, Audacity.
Yep, we're recording. We're streaming, and we are live. What's up, Eddie White? How you doing? The other thing is the live feed. It's always the same 15 to 20 people. And their goal every week is to just make fun of us. So if you see any of the live feed stuff, just ignore. I have to ignore the live feed. I literally, no joke, I literally cover up the live feed chat while I'm doing an interview because I know that they're trying to make me cry.
Like, I don't want to look at this.
Now you got to see it.
Make the sound weird if you pull it up.
I'm not going to have the audio.
All right. Oh, Jose went blind? No, Matt went blind. We'll talk about that later, Nicole.
She's referencing the fact that Jose's wearing glasses now.
I know. Hi, Susie. She said, Susan said she's glad that Jose's okay, and I think the rest of us aren't really sure if we're okay with that. And then, of course, already Tim missing my favorite co-host tonight besides Casey and Jose. So Tim's mad that Matt's not there. He doesn't care about me. Okay. I think we are about ready to do this nonsense. Oh, that's what I need. All right, you guys ready?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Casey, Jose, you guys ready?
I'm ready.
We even pulled up the live chat on our phones.
Okay, that's
we can see how bad they abuse you.
We'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm gonna count down and then we're gonna get started. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it is 6:30 on Tuesday night. We are live on YouTube as we usually are Tuesday nights. Tonight we are joined in a pop top in Moab, mother effing Utah, because they're jerks and they want to rub it in. It's the team from MoLeisureXVentures, Enoch and Delia. How are you guys doing tonight?
Excellent.
Good.
Yeah, it sounds excellent. You were just saying.
I'm trying to rub it in too much.
Yeah, I'm super jealous right now. We'll get into why I'm so jealous in a minute, but some background. I think we've been following you guys for a while because you've got an awesome exterior build and you're doing all kinds of awesome adventure stuff. And then, if I remember correctly, Casey ran into you guys at King of the Hammers this year and started up chatting with you, right? Okay, so let me first apologize for my brother.
First, we passed each other going through the I just call it like the sandy corridor.
Yeah.
The Chocolate Thunder. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
I came whipping out from the flatbed or the lake bed, toward the sand dune corridor, and he was coming the opposite direction. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, that's a Nissan."
Yeah.
And I do recall on, I believe it was Friday night, I was ready for bed, and Casey was ready to party, and he ended up going out and talking to people, and he comes back and he's like, "Guess who I just talked to?" So now you're on the show. So if you could handle that, you should be able to stick with us for the night.
For sure.
So first, because let's get it out of the way, tell us where you're at right now in your pop tent recording live.
Yeah, we're in Moab right now for Easter Jeep Safari. We're just out here having fun, running trails, meeting people, doing some interviews, all that good stuff.
It's Easter Jeep Safari, sir, not Easter Nissan Safari.
I'm trying to convert.
right.
You know,
The
if I can get
Nissan takeover.
Yeah.
That's right, Nissan takeover.
Is it so? I've only been to Moab once, and I intentionally went the week before Easter Jeep Safari because I was told it's a madhouse. What's it like there?
There's like, I don't know, 100,000 Jeeps driving around. Obviously, that's an exaggeration. They're not that many, but it
there
is.
really are.
Yeah, that's all you see everywhere.
And I've been told, like, you sign up to go on a trail run, and it takes 16 hours to do a 2-mile trail run because there's so many people.
Oh man! So we did what is it called? Behind the Rock Trail today, which takes you to White Knuckle, which is a really big obstacle out that way. And so we did a crew of, I want to say, 10 rigs, and it took us from 9 o'clock until 6:30, 6:45.
Oh, wow.
Like I made it back into town,
That's a
and
long,
I like just barely got this all set up in time.
At 10 miles an hour?
Oh yeah. Oh, well, the worst part is we were riding along with the Warren group, which was awesome. Amazing group to go wheeling with. But we were rolling down in the Warren Jeep, and one of the shock mounts broke. So the rest of the trail, this was in the first like quarter of the trail. So 3/4 of the trail, we were going around with no rear driver side shock.
Did you tell them that wouldn't have happened in an Xterra?
Oh yeah, of course I did. The whole time I was like, you guys know I have a Nissan. We could grab it and do all this.
Nice.
But yeah, the spring may or may not have popped out a few times on some of the larger obstacles.
Jeez. And you said it was 10 vehicles?
Yeah, 10 vehicles.
How long? What was the trail? How many miles was the trail?
The trail was probably, I'm gonna say, 16 miles.
That's pretty long.
That's a decent.
If it's technical, 10
Yeah.
trucks through
So
that.
the actual technical part was probably about 4 miles.
Okay.
And the rest of it was just kind of your traditional Moab, dirt, sand, and then a little bit of rock mixed into the road.
Turn your mic down.
Mine? Okay.
Yeah. We're all put it out right now. Sorry.
Okay. So you talk about traditional trail running. When you're not in Moab doing Moab Jeep things, what kind of stuff do you guys do? I mean, you guys are full-time adventurers, right?
I mean, that's what we like to say, at least. No, for reals. We've been on the road for 3.5 years, trying to go to all of the national parks. We've managed to complete 52 out of the 63 national parks. We have one more park left in the lower 48 to complete, which we'll be completing after
in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
3
2
weeks.
weeks, 3 weeks after
Yes.
Moore Expo. We're gonna go up to Isles Royal, and that'll be the last park in the lower 48. And then we've got Alaska that we're going to be going up to this summer after the P&W Expo. Then we're going to shoot up to Alaska. We're going to hit 7 national parks in Alaska this summer. And then we have Hawaii and America Samoa. Hopefully we'll be able to complete those this winter. Not a guarantee yet. But yeah, that's kind of what we've been up to for the last 3.5 years, at least. That's like our main core adventure. And then we just squeeze in as much dirt road, traversing as we can, going from each location. You know, we try to stay off the paved roads as much as possible.
Damn it, you guys.
That's
I
awesome.
don't even want to talk to you anymore because I'm like super jealous and angry at myself for life decision. No, I'm just kidding. That
I
sounds,
have a question about the ones in Hawaii. Do
I
you
was
plan
just,
on
I was just gonna ask
getting
you
the
that.
Xterra out there?
No,
Or-
I looked into it initially. That's something I did want to do, was at least send it to Hawaii, maybe not America Samoa, because the only way to get there is you have to go to Australia and then you fly back to America Samoa. So for those, we're just going to fly out, rent a vehicle, experience, you know, the national parks, and then we'll fly back.
As long as you rent a Nissan, it'll count. Right? It counts.
Actually, we've been looking.
counts.
They have overland
Yeah.
rentals in Hawaii. So we've been looking at Nissan Xterra and a Suzuki Jimny because
Ooh.
Oh,
dude, those are cool,
Do
right?
the
I-
Suzuki.
I saw
and then
one of
come-
those here.
Yeah, really here?
Yeah.
yeah,
I was-
I've seen one too. I saw
Oh.
one at Stater Brothers
It
up
was a
here.
brand new one.
Oh, nice.
Do the
Oh.
Jimny and come back on the show and talk to us about it because I've only seen it at SEMA and I think it looks super cool.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, it's so unique.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's
Yeah.
tiny and compact. I bet it's fun as hell to drive. So the first off, amazing that you guys are doing this. I mean, it's
thank you.
super inspiring. What prompted it though? Like, take me back to that 3.5 years ago when you went, this normal life sucks. Let's do something different. Like, how did that come about?
So for me, I had a huge life-changing experience that happened, and at that moment, that's when I realized I needed to re-gear what my focus was and what I saw my future to be and how I lived my life. So when that happened, I decided to move out to California, and I was working there for like 8 months. And while I was in California, met Delia.
That's how we met. We met out in
Yeah.
California. I'm originally from New York. I needed a change of scenery, so I moved to California too. And we met in a hiking group, and he lived close to me, so we started hanging out a lot more. And then when he bought the Xterra, he drove up to Alaska, and I was like, "Oh, I've never been to Alaska before. Can I come visit?" And so I flew up there, and we did the inner loop.
Yeah,
Is that
the inner
what it's
loop,
called?
it goes from like Fairbanks, Denali, down to Talkeetna, over back to Anchorage.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the inner loop of Alaska. So I took her on that. That was the first time.
That was the first time I went camping because I'm a city girl from Brooklyn, New York.
Wow.
So we went. So that whole trip we camped. I really liked it. I had never done anything like that in my life. I got to be one with nature. It was so peaceful. I hate cities now. So we came back to California. We went to Denali too. We came back to California, and I was like, I really want to do a longer trip, like travel for more days, And he was like, well, I was thinking about, turning the Xterra into an overland vehicle.
Yeah.
I didn't know what overlanding was at the time either. And so I was like, we should just go to all the national parks then. And, he didn't think I was serious, but, here we are now.
I'll get the saws on, cut the roof off.
So it's crazy because like I didn't think she was serious by any means at all. Because I told her, I was like, well, if you want to do this, you have to sell everything you own. I'm gonna create a vehicle in which we can make this trip possible financially, and the overland aspect was like the answer to that, right? Because we were able to sleep on all the BLM land, national forest. We're able to take away that expense of hotels and campsites and things like that, which really opened up the budget to allow us to do a lot more with our gas money essentially, and really get us all over the country. Because like right now, we are on average about $1,500 a month is what we spend.
on fuel?
Yeah, I know, on everything.
On everything.
Whole living.
Wow.
Mainly food and gas.
That's crazy.
Yeah, food and gas is our biggest expense.
Yeah.
Oh, I would imagine that's crazy. Like just wrap your head around that for a minute. Even Jose and I just had a conversation about paying rent. Like $1,500 a month, you can't get a one bedroom apartment
in Ontario for that.
Nope.
And
there is nowhere in any of the cities that we would find ourselves in that we could get a place to stay for that cost. Yeah.
That is amazing.
So do you not currently have like a home base?
No.
Place?
We're 100%, 110% in this vehicle.
Casey, home is where the heart is, bro. Like,
yeah.
So I'm just trying to wrap my head around that.
Absolutely.
Because it's such a for lack of a better term, like a non-traditional approach to life. And that interesting conversation though, because my wife and I have had conversations about this, and I've said if we didn't have our daughter, I'd be living full time in the RV, driving around the country, working remote on a computer. Like I'd find a way to do customer support or something 4 hours a day. Like, you know, especially in an environment today where home ownership, rent, cost of living is ridiculous. Like if you didn't buy a house 10 years ago, good luck to you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I will apologize up front for that. Like I've said this before. I feel like I'm Gen Xer, right? I'm an old guy. I'm almost 50. And I feel like people in my age bracket, and especially the ones before me, always talk about how these lazy millennials can't buy a house. No, it's because we fucked it up. Because we screwed up the housing market and lending and mortgages so bad that it's completely out of whack, and we screwed it up. So I apologize on behalf of the entire generation. But again, I mean, I think it's got to take, especially for you, Delia, going from the big city, it's got to take a significant shift in your mind to be able to go, I don't have a place to live, technically. I don't have a home. I don't have a lot of possessions, and I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. Like, tell me, like, how has that transition been for you guys?
Honestly, for me, I don't know. I'm very open-minded to new experiences and new things. And so this was something that I've always wanted to do, but never had the chance to. So, of course, I said yes. And minimalizing my items was very hard for me. I had a lot. I was living in a studio apartment in California, so I basically had to get rid of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, when we first started the trip, we had like a hitch storage, a cargo hitch
on the back.
The whole vehicle was like packed with things. I shipped a couple of boxes back to my parents' house. But then as we continued this lifestyle, I started realizing there were all these things that I didn't use on a daily basis. So if I'm not using it, why do I have it? And so we just started shedding things. And now I have all of my clothes fit in a backpacking backpack, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about that all the time. Like every time we go out, it's like we're just keep refining our loadout every time, like for overnight. Because like at first, when you're first getting into this, you think you need everything. Like, well, Cody literally brings everything he owns.
You got to admit, like his
truck
packing,
is like way over gross vehicle
way over
weight. The joke was I just brought Bass Pro Shop with me every time we went someplace. And
so that's why we don't have to bring anything because Cody has it.
And every time I do, someone's like, "Do you have an extra jacket?" Yes, I do.
I have 7 of those. I don't know why, but I have 7. You need one?
I think that comes with, for those of us that don't do it, like let's say you go on one trip a quarter.
That's the thing.
There's a very much a like, oh, well, what if this happens or what if that happens? And I may need this. I don't know. By the time you've been doing it for 30, 60, 90 days straight, you're like, look, that's never going to happen. I don't need to prepare for that. This is the I can use 1 cup and just wash it every day. Like that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's got to just come with repetition and being in it full time, immersed in it.
For sure. I mean, it was easily 6 months. So you're looking 6 months, 30 days, a month. You know, what are we at?
180 days of
180 days of us on the road before I feel like we were even somewhat close to being refined. like as far as like just what we needed, what we didn't need, and also our mindsets and understanding that, you know, when you go to a place, you don't buy a trinket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no need for that trinket.
Yeah.
It's all right here. Save it in your mind.
Take a picture.
Remember,
picture of it.
Yeah.
picture.
I don't know. I'm pretty happy with my trinket
Collection.
Integratron coffee mug that I bought. So
Well, you also paid $80 for
Yeah,
it. So.
exactly.
Yeah.
And now imagine
Oh,
if you
does
did
it-
that
does it
every
auto
time you
make
stopped at a
stuff for you?
different.
Yeah.
So going back to that 3.5-year mark, when you decided to start this process, did you already own the Xterra, or was that part of the beginning? Did you buy that at the beginning before you got started?
Yeah, I bought the Xterra before, and then I went up to Alaska because I have family in Alaska. So I went up to Alaska to visit my sister, and I thought maybe I would live up there for a long time, you know. But after about a month and a half, I realized that Alaska was not for me.
Yeah.
Beautiful place,
What
great
was
to
it
visit.
about it?
Yeah. Why?
For me personally, the people in Alaska, it's very much so you're a native or you're not.
Oh.
Yeah.
And if you're not a native, it's very hard to survive in Alaska
So-
unless you're tied to one of the oil companies or something like that.
So Californians are not welcomed in Alaska.
So, no, you can come visit. You can come visit.
Yeah, but if
don't
I wanted to move there and I
Yeah.
had California plates,
See, to me, I would have said the cold and the night. Like,
Oh no, that doesn't bother me at
too
all.
damn cold, and it's nighttime 24 hours a day. like, no, that's the part that I wouldn't have managed.
Jose, Californians aren't welcome anywhere.
Yeah,
for
that's
the most
true.
part.
That's pretty
For
true.
the most part. So
We don't want none of your free thinking kind around here.
the Xterra, why? Like, when you bought the Xterra, was there an idea that it would be more than a daily driver? Like, and why did you choose that vehicle?
So I've always been a big Nissan guy. When I was younger, my driving career started with a Nissan 720 hardbody.
Okay.
So I rode that for a couple of years, and then, you know, went to a bunch of different cars. Didn't have an off-road vehicle for a long time. What really kicked it in, I guess, is I was walking down the street. I saw the Xterra. I was like, I want to go check out that Xterra. It looks really clean. It said 4x4 on the side. I was like, cool, it's 4x4. That'll get me up to Alaska. So that's my mindset. It'll get me up to Alaska, no problem. I walk up to it. It was a 6-speed standard. And immediately I looked over at Delia and I was like,
Sold.
I'm going to buy this car today. The price on it was $9,500 at 135,000 miles on it to 2009. And I got them down to $8,000 and I left with the car that day.
Wow. So this is a manual transmission Xterra?
Yes, all open manual.
That's
Transmission.
insanity, because I will never drive another manual transmission vehicle. I don't even care.
How am I supposed to eat a cheeseburger and
Yes.
drive
Yeah,
at the same time?
That's the thing. You can do that.
Yeah,
I used to do it all the time.
It's too hard.
So, and what year was it? So 3.5 years. What, that 2019?
Yeah, 2019. June of 2019 is when I picked it up.
Prior
So
to
you hadn't really done any like off-roading prior to this? Like, what was your off-roading background?
So before
prior?
that, with the 720 hardbody, I had done a lot of sand dune playing, rivers. I was living in the Panhandle of Texas at the time, so, you know, kind of pictured that, kind of like canyons and stuff like that. And then later in life, I found myself doing a lot of wheeling on beaches. I lived up on Cape Cod, Massachusetts for almost 13 years. So I was on the beaches a lot. But the hardcore, like Moab stuff, I had done a few times. But really the last 3.5 years has been like, it's like the most intense hardcore I've ever done in my entire life, for sure. Like doing Poison Spider in Moab, Stillbender, like these like really like red and black trails, you know.
And I find that interesting because we wheel our daily drivers. You're
Mhm.
wheeling your home. Like you're, if something breaks down on that Xterra, that's where you live until it's fixed. Like that's to me, the that level of confidence, the stakes are higher, and that level of confidence in that Xterra, is awesome. Like, tell me about the Xterra. Like, how has the Xterra held up to this adventure?
So I've been absolutely amazed with how well the Xterra has held up, to be quite honest. So one of the best little stories I can tell, like an anecdotal little story, when we first started, we were going through Death Valley. I was like, hey, where do you want to go tomorrow? She's like, let's go over to Bellurat Ghost Town. It's just down this canyon road. I'm like, cool, let's go down the canyon road. We'll hit that up in the morning. We hit that canyon road. We make it out to the geologist's cabin. There's two guys sitting there with campfire going, and they're like, hey, what are you guys doing? Where are you going? I'm like, oh, we're just heading down the canyon road over to Bellurat. And they're like, tonight? You're going to go tonight? And they're doing that look. You're like, are you sure you want to do that? And then he's like, well, there's another cabin over there if you guys want to stay tonight, and you can go over with us tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, no big deal. We can just go up the canyon road.
Based on what he's saying, do you guys know what trail he's about to talk about?
Yeah, Mango Pass.
Oh, man.
So I am in a stock Xterra with highway tires going down what I thought was a canyon road over to Bellurat at sunset. I'm starting the beginning of this trail at sunset.
It's pretty sketchy, dude. Like, I went down. I've only done it one time, and I went down the pass. So I went the opposite way you guys were going.
Yep.
And yeah, it was pretty.
And you went on with lockers and 35s and the winch.
Yeah, I mean,
I had
sliders.
I had 31s, no locker, no winch, no armor.
Going up is definitely harder for sure.
Oh, dude, that was crazy. I blew off both my side steps. Literally, like I jumped. To get through it, you had to like kind of pop through the rocks. So I popped, came right down on those side steps, just shot right off the side, and I'm just like, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
There's just a reason to get rock sliders.
Anyway, it just gave me the
well, so going back to the 180 days, 6 months of trying to figure out everything out, that's lesson number one. Side steps bad. Sliders good. Right, so you guys had the opportunity to figure that out. But so again, I mean,
also sorry to cut you off, but also you guys are learning what you guys need too. I mean, you guys are starting from baseline. You guys
I feel like hitting that trail with the fact that I was in a fully stock Xterra and made it through with some work. Don't get me wrong. It was a lot of work to make it through, but the vehicle itself made it through. And at that point I was like, we're going to build this thing out.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of the little click that I needed to go, all right, we're going to put 33s. We're going to do a 2-inch lift. We're going to put the sliders. We're going to put the armor all the way underneath the skid plates. And then, so 4 months later, COVID hit, and that's when I did all the upgrades.
Yeah. In listening to your guys' stories individually before this adventure started, the thing that I'm noticing is that both of you had an adventurous spirit and weren't afraid to do something new. Like, there are people like me that are like, you know what? I was born in the hospital right over there. My first house was next door to that. My second house was on the other side of that. You know what I mean? Like, people there are people that have grown up in Southern California, never left, right? Both of you are the exact opposite of that. You know what? I need to change the scenery. I'm going to move from New York to California. You know what I mean? And I feel like the vehicle was the next tool, the catalyst, and the next tool for you to expand that adventurous spirit and that mindset even further than you thought was possible.
I would have to agree with that. I mean, from where we started at with this vehicle and to where it is now, like this vehicle has opened up so many doors for us as far as being able to get out there and go where we want to go, and also meet amazing people. That was one thing when we first started this. We didn't know about the overland industry as a whole. We didn't know about the community. We're like, I knew that if I built a vehicle this way, not this final build that you see today, it was completely different than what it is today. But if I built an overland rig, I knew that I could afford to do the trip in the way that we wanted to do it. And that was the main focus. And the bonus to that was the community that came later. The fact that we would roll up into some of these national parks and there'd be some guy with a rooftop tent would just walk over to me and be like, "Hey, best friend in the world.
Yeah.
Let's talk about And I'm like, cool.
You know what's funny? My daughter just the other day on the way to school, somebody had driven by or whatever, and I waved at him, and my daughter was like, "Daddy, how come you talk to strangers all the time?" And I'm like, "I don't know, babe. I just genuinely think people are good people, and I want to say hi, and that people are nice, and it's nice to say hi to people. Like, but then how do you explain to a 7-year-old? But you don't.
But
you don't talk to strangers.
Right.
I'll talk to strangers.
Stranger danger goes away at 18.
Yeah,
That's right.
But but the community that we're in, the off-road overland community, outdoor community, fosters that, right? It's very rare that you come across a situation where you're like, "Hey man, how you doing? Great. How are you today? Great." You may not be best friends for lifetime, but for that moment, you're there to support you. And if something went down at night, you'd be like, "Hey dude, can you help me out?" Absolutely. Let's get the jumper cables and get going. And I think that's very cool that you guys are experiencing that in not just Southern California or not just Moab, Utah. It's across the country where you guys are going.
Absolutely. The whole entire country. I think that's the other thing that's kind of opened up both of our eyes as we've been traveling the country, realizing that maybe some of the stigmas people have about states are not factual. Maybe the fact, those like you said, everybody is a good person until they're not.
Yeah, everybody gets the benefit of the doubt, right? It's that whole.
That's right, Casey. You're my best friend right now. Until you're not.
It's like everybody starts with respect, and you can only lose it, right? That's the way I think.
Exactly.
Respect and appreciation, and then it's up to you to keep that or lose it, right? And speaking of the country, like how many miles have you guys tracked in these last 3.5 years?
120,000 miles.
Dude.
So your Xterra has 250.
250,000. We have 260,000 miles.
125.
So yeah, I said it right.
Dude, how does Nissan not bring the Xterra back?
How does
Nissan? I don't know.
I don't understand.
Everyone's like Xterra. Yeah. Here's a Pathfinder.
Yeah.
Right.
What I don't understand is 3 of the guys on this show have Nissan products. 2 of them beat the shit out of those products. The other one, it's a pavement princess. But Casey and Matt beat the shit out of their Nissans every time we go out, and they're awesome. Everybody we talk to with a Nissan product, it's awesome. The Xterra is awesome. How is Nissan barely a mention in the off-road and overland communities?
But what's weird is that Nismo Off-Road makes stuff for the Xterra still.
But Nismo,
the thing is, on that note, with the Nismo stuff, like that came out 2 years, 3, 4, 5 years after they discontinued the Xterra.
Exactly.
Yeah. We met the guy, the head of Nismo at SEMA, and interviewed him a year and a half ago, and he's an enthusiast. He wants Nissan to be in the conversation with Ford in the off-road world. No one's going to get there, right? It's Ford and then everybody else.
It's Toyota.
And then so he wants to be up there with the Ford Ranger. He can do it's shoot for the sun.
I feel like there might be some geared conversation going on here.
But he's an enthusiast, and he wants the brand to be in the conversation, and
there's no commitment.
It's like, oh my God, you guys are so good. Just get out of your own way and do it.
It really is too. I mean, like talking with Carl, which is the Nismo off-road guy.
That's the guy we met.
Yeah. So like talking with him and kind of like just kind of asking a few little simple questions about what's going on and all that stuff. It's like they just don't want to commit that budget.
Yeah,
that's really what they're like fighting for every dollar just so they can push out the little bit of product for off-road community that they do. So I don't know what's going to change in the future or not, but I hope that they start really pushing it out because the industry's here and it's only going to get bigger.
And it's unfortunate.
How much does it actually cost to get Chuck Norris in your commercial?
Yeah, but
right?
Even if they were to, you know what, we're going all in on Xterra this for this new model, next model year, it would sell like hotcakes. Like if they, just like when they released it initially, it was all like geared to like outdoor people, like like mountain bike commercial,
it had the
like
first aid kit in it and the rack that came
stuff.
with.
But if they did that again just now, like dude, you'd have a hot seller again.
I agree. I mean, and what's crazy is like I'm looking at the Bronco, and the new Bronco, the wheelbase, the IFS, like it's almost identical to Xterra.
Yeah.
Like the platform itself is almost identical to what the Xterra. And it's just like, okay, then what? Come on, guys! Like the market's here.
The downside is that at this point, I mean, who knows how long this wave is going to run, right? The off-road overlanding, it could go on for our lifetime. It could peter out in 2 years. I don't know. Right. But at this point, Nissan is 10 years behind everybody else. They're 10 years behind. The Frontier, the new Frontier is
dying for like aftermarket support.
Well, I was going to say the new Frontier is
the old Frontier with the new body.
Yeah. But I'm just saying the new Frontier is enough vehicle to be able to put momentum behind and
100%
make it. It's a rock solid performer on a proven platform. It looks great. Like it's enough vehicle for them to go, let's see how this goes. And it would go well if they invested in it. And then that could open the door for the Xterra or, even I'm going to say it's going to sound lame, but the Rogue, the little Rogue looks super cool. And with some modifications could be a really good crossover. I think the new Pathfinder is really cool looking. Not going to be an off-road. It may be an adventure
that's a
vehicle.
crossover. That's a crossover. Yeah.
But I mean, look at, and these guys are getting mad at me, but look at the amount of marketing and push that Honda is putting in on the Ridgeline and the new Pilot.
Right.
And they suck.
Like sport mode, we go off-roading.
Compared to the Nissan Xterra and Frontier, right? You've got
get some freaking dirt bikes in your commercial, bro.
Yeah, you've got a fraction of the vehicle capabilities and 10 times more marketing push behind it. Sorry, Carl. That's my take on the.
We love you, Carl.
We do.
There goes Cody on his pedestal again, Jose.
And we absolutely want the brand to be successful in the space because we truly believe in it. It's just not, there's nothing we can do from our side.
Yeah, unfortunately, for sure.
But so you guys have got this Xterra. You've over the last 3.5 years built it out. Do you feel that you're done? Is it dialed in, or is there still more things you need to do?
So in this new version, this is definitely the closest I would say I am to being done.
Okay.
But as we all know, it's never truly done.
I'm glad to hear it.
So on that note, like I'm already looking at the rack, the cabinet system that I built in here, and I've already thought about different ways that maybe I could improve the space, improve our mobility inside the vehicle a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. Improve our mobility, so I'm not poking her in the eye. So there's a couple of little things that I want to change.
Hard walls for the tent.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be the next biggest thing that I'm going to be working on is I'm trying to develop a hard wall side for this tent. So hopefully by the end of this year, I will have figured out the materials and stuff, and maybe over the holiday season, I'll be able to bang that out.
There's a company that just came out with a hard wall.
Red Tail.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That is a rooftop tent camper. Yeah, it's got power built into it. It's got heat built into it. Like that thing is something else.
Now, and is that
So how?
for, sorry, Case, is that the hard wall? Is that for comfort? Is that for
Yes.
Yes.
wind?
Yeah,
Is that
it's solely for comfort. Yeah, we just want to create just a little bit more of an insulation barrier because the canvas just really doesn't provide much in the wintertime. And we've been doing fine for years now, sleeping in the winter. But it would be nice to be able to wake up and not pull off my blanket and be like, oh my god, it's 32 degrees inside my tent.
Well, just go someplace warmer.
Well, I mean, we do go down to Baja in the wintertime
Yeah, I was
typically.
gonna say you've got the ability to go to San Diego.
Right.
Oh, we go all the way down, all the
Yeah,
way
yeah.
down.
What's that like? So I mean, how are you guys doing international travel? Are you doing Canada? I mean, you're obviously driving through Canada to get to Alaska. Like, what has your experience been with crossing borders?
So we have gone into Mexico. What, four times? We've gone into Mexico 4 times over the last couple years, and we stay down in Mexico for anywhere between 2 weeks to a month, and then we come back up typically around King of the Hammers.
Yeah.
We go down before King of the Hammers, and then we come back up for King of the Hammers, and then we kind of start our year of like different events and off-roading things that we like to do. Last week we were on the Rogue Overland expedition.
Oh, nice!
Which was
love those
yeah,
guys. Those guys are great.
Oh man,
Great group of guys.
he puts together one of the most efficient trips that you could probably possibly go on, and it's really nice because you don't have to really think. He plans the whole thing out. You show up, and as long as you're where you're supposed to be at the time frame that he said, then everything's good, and you just keep rolling. And it's a lot of off-roading. Like this time, we went from Moab to Capitol Reef, and primarily on off-road roads. We had to jump on the interstate to get over to the other side of Canyonlands because you have to get over the river. But other than that, it was just dirt roads pretty much the whole time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those guys are awesome. We've been trying to. For the longest time.
We've been trying to, but it's just not. We have not been able to get ourselves in a position to go on trips.
They didn't convince you to solid axle swap that Xterra?
Not yet. They're trying. They want to see me. They want to see me on like 37, so I can rock crawl with them up in the crazy stuff.
Yeah. But going back to that, I mean, like for living full time, driving efficiently across the country, getting out and adventuring. The minute you solid axle swap that thing, you have now compromised.
Oh yeah,
80% of that.
I would never do a solid axle swap ever. No.
Yeah,
I like a nice smooth ride.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we're recording this. Everybody heard you say that.
But I mean, unless you're trying to do some massive rock crawling that you don't need to be doing in that type of vehicle,
exactly,
you're going to be fine. I mean, I don't see, like, I'm going to say basically the Jeep Wrangler is the only vehicle right now that comes with a solid front axle in the mid-size SUV.
Yeah, and
everything else is IFS, right? And it's a matter of time before Jeep goes IFS.
I think they're squeezing like every drop out of that solid axle
absolutely
lifestyle.
Absolutely,
because they there's like a Gladiator out there and Wrangler like current versions that have front IFS.
I've seen it.
I can't wait for it. I can't wait for them to offer an IFS option.
Converted to IFS, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and they're probably like, dude, they need to make the switch now.
but I do think that based on my experience, the IFS is way more comfortable for what I do. Like, I'm not part of Johnson Valley Crawlers. I'm not going to Sledgehammer. For the adventure vehicle off-road overland that I do, it's the perfect setup.
Yep. I found that I feel like a 2-inch lift, some 33s, and you can pretty much go anywhere.
Just
like
about
there's
anywhere.
very, very few spots that you wouldn't be able to work your way through with a winch, with some boards.
Yeah. Some help.
a little bit of help.
and I've told people that a bunch of times. Like I've talked to people, I just got this truck, you know, I'm going to do this. Don't just drive it. I was talking to a guy this weekend at an event. Kid got a 2013 Tacoma TRD off-road, the TRD 4x4 package. And I was like, put some sliders on it, drive the piss out of it. Like drive it, don't invest any money into it. Drive it for the next 3 years until you graduate high school.
Wheel it.
And then decide what to do with it. That truck is so capable stock. There's nothing you won't be able to do.
I've said it here before. Like, I wish I wouldn't have. I kind of wish sometimes I just would have left my Land Cruiser stock the way it was.
Yeah.
And just 33s, and that's it.
Yeah.
But, that
I love the 33s, man. I really feel like that's like the golden spot.
I'm wanting to squeeze 35s under my Ranger just because my brother's tires are 35 and I can't let him have a bigger one.
I understand. I'm doing the M205 swap in the front. And I keep thinking about doing, because then at that point I could, if I wanted, do 35s, and I'm re-gearing to 410s. So,
I don't know. I loved my truck on 33s, and then I had the option to go to 35s.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let's just try it. I mean, I still have the 33s I can go back to, and now I think that's the right size tire for that truck. Like that truck looks. That's how it's supposed to look. With 35s.
Other than the fact that it's blue, like if it was a color,
blue's the best.
No,
thank you.
No, it's.
You're right. We are best friends right now.
I feel like Casey should be selling ice cream out of the side of that damn thing.
I thought about it
to buy more parts. So you guys,
you got the Overland fridge. You're good.
Yeah,
I do.
So you guys are in Moab now. How long are you going to be there, and what's your next trip?
So we're going to be in Moab till Saturday, most likely. Finishing up Easter Jeep Safari. Jeez,
you got it.
Easter Jeep Safari. Yeah, that's right.
So I like 4 of the things went through my head all at the same time. I was like, wait. Yeah. So we're going to be doing the vendor show. We're going to be working with a Sphere there to, sling some skid plates. And then after that, we're going to head out to More Expo. In Springfield, Missouri.
That I have not been to More, but that's a show that's growing a lot.
Yeah, this year looks like it's almost double the size of last year.
That's exciting that it's I love seeing those community events grow year over year because it goes back to what we were just talking about, this wave of off-road and overlanding. It's growing and it's coming to different locations, and that friendship and camaraderie that we just discussed is
right.
That's where it happens, right? And then it goes to the next event and it goes to the next event. And I love like going from event to event to event and see the same guy from last time and I talked to you at this time and it's super cool to see the community build and grow that way.
Absolutely. I agree 100% on that.
So what has been of the 3.5 years of doing this full time, what has been the most challenging part for you guys?
Ooh, what do you think?
I know what she's going to say. She's going to say living with this guy in a truck for 3.5 years.
You guys 24/7, yeah.
Selling all my stuff.
Yeah, there's a whole like meme about how marriage is just 2 people standing in a kitchen trying to get to the same drawer and pushing each other out of the way. Like I can't even imagine what it's like to have 2 people in an Xterra full time.
Yeah. Oh man, you should see us shuffle through in here, man. It's great.
But
it's
you
great.
guys have I'm sure you've gotten a rhythm. Like you kind of you guys get.
Oh yeah.
But what's been the big, other than him? What's been the biggest challenge?
Well, I mean, it's a lot of mine are, specifically female problems. Like when we stay at a hotel and I have access to a bathroom and a shower, and I just want to stay in that bathroom all night. Like, I mean,
it's true.
Like now, like we're in Moab and it's cold outside.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to the bathroom outside.
Yeah, it's like 27 degrees right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
He doesn't have
Oh.
that problem though.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Just the as human beings in 2023, we've evolved to have a bed with a comforter on it and a heated shower and the access to all these things, and that's kind of the, that's what we are as human beings at this point. And you guys have gone completely in the opposite direction. You're like, hey, it's a 1705 here, and we're just, like we're living on the range.
I have running water and an electric stove.
Okay, so gold.
And a 1900.
Okay, so yeah, you're at least 1884 by that point. But I mean that I can imagine that being the hardest part.
Yeah, because I mean we've pretty much nailed down like our cooking. We're really efficient at that. We have a lot of dishes that we've gotten really good at. Sleeping's good. I mean, I mean, really the access to a functioning restroom at any point in time, like just I feel like going to the restroom just
I'm
because
gonna
I
be
feel
here for
like
2 hours and scroll Instagram.
right. That is probably the biggest thing we're missing for sure.
I always say the amount of time it takes me in the bathroom is directly proportionate to the number of Instagram feeds I have not seen yet. Like that's what's in my new feed. But I mean, is it in the grand scheme of things? If that's the one thing, that's pretty damn good considering what you guys you're making this life in this vehicle on the road, and that's the one thing that you can point to as a challenge. I mean, that's pretty good. You guys are doing really well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's like
they're not in a camper.
To...
They don't have a trailer.
Yeah.
They're in an Xterra.
What?
That's how good it is. Like,
what has been the most rewarding piece of it?
Oh, I would say the community for
Yeah,
me. For me, the
meeting
community
people.
For sure. Like
for me, going back to the whole stranger danger thing, right? Living in a city, I grew up like, don't talk to anyone. I mean, especially New York City. Like, someone looks at you the wrong way, it's like, oh, they might start a fight, kind of thing. But then, so I came into this lifestyle kind of still having a little bit of that mindset. Like, I was a little hesitant talking to new people, and then we started meeting people like in parking lots, and he would always be the first one to go and talk to all the people. I would be sitting in the car, and then I, slowly I'm just like, well, if he's okay talking to all these people, I should be okay talking to them too. And so we've built, like you said, a community. Like, now I'm excited to go to these events, to see these friends that I've made throughout the years. And they're not strangers anymore. Like, these strangers that we've met once at an event have also opened up their homes to us whenever we're in town, and they're like, come stay for the night. We know you don't have access to a bathroom all the time. I'll give you that access. I'll cook you a meal. They're friends. Like, and so like they're friends until they're strangers, or what'd you say? Yeah, what was your thing?
They're friends
until they're not. Yeah. So now I'm coming into like meeting people more with an open mindset. And that's also why we don't go to cities anymore, because I have to go back into that turtle shell of like, oh my gosh, people are scary.
So on that note too, real quick, if it wasn't for the community, this vehicle as you see it today would not be where it is. We had several people host us for multiple weeks, allowing me to do all of the work that I was able to do on this vehicle. We did rent an Airbnb a couple of times to be able to accelerate that a little bit. But, what really accomplished everything for us was really having that community open up their doors and really allowing us to complete this so we can continue on our journey as we are.
That is, it's unsurprising. Like, we talked about how good this community is, but the fact that you guys have been able to be ambassadors of that community throughout the country is a huge thing. I want to go back to the city thing though. Like, I am a Southern California kid. I've been to New York a handful of times. My wife and I, we just went for Thanksgiving,
Okay.
And I'm sure, as a California tourist in New York, my experience is very different than someone that lives there. But the first time I went to New York, I was like, they're all assholes. I don't even want to do this. Like,
Yes,
It's not
I don't wanna
wrong.
be there. But I was wrong. Like, I found that people were super helpful. They weren't, I wasn't afraid to talk to people. Like, yeah, there's some random stuff going on in the subway that you grab your 7-year-old and go, come on, honey, we're gonna go down to the next. But like, my experience in New York was very different than that. And if you go back to New York, do you go back and consider yourself a tourist at this point, or are you back home?
She's back home.
I'm back home. So going back to you as a visitor in New York, for me, growing up in New York and watching it change as the years have gone by, I would say people have become less assholey because people from other states have started coming in and moving to New York. So they're not really New Yorkers, but I mean,
New York is less New York, which makes it better.
I can say we're all assholes. I mean,
The real city folk.
That is interesting. Has there been any cities that you guys have gone to that you will not go back to?
New York.
The Cuyahoga National Park, that city that I did not want to go back there.
Yeah. So we went to Cuyahoga National Park in Ohio. And actually that is the only negative camping experience that we've had since we've been on this trip. We were camped out in a parking lot of a trailhead, and we were allowed to stay there. Yeah,
completely legal. We're in the gold.
It was like 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
1 a.m.
Someone just starts banging on our window.
We're upstairs in the tent.
Yeah, we're in the tent. So at this time we had a Smitty built rooftop tent. And we had just started, and he started banging on the car window, and I
ignored it the first time.
Yeah, and then he started banging on the tent, and so that's when I was like, I'm not getting out of this tent. Nope.
I was not a happy camper when I got out of that tent.
What was his issue?
So I was listening in, and Enoch gets out. He's on the ladder, and he was like, "Hey, man, we're trying to sleep. Like, what's up?" And the guy goes, "Well, have you seen a dog running around?"
Oh no.
And we're like, Enoch's like,
"It's 1 a.m.
No, I haven't seen a dog running around. And the guy's like, "Well, I'm trying to find a dog, and you're not supposed to be here, so I called the cops."
Oh.
And so thankfully Enoch was very calm, and he said in his mind, he was like, stay calm, don't escalate this. Yeah. So he just told the guy, "Cool, man, thanks for calling the cops."
Yeah.
And the guy walked away. Enoch came back in the tent, and a few minutes went by, and we heard the cops roll into the parking lot.
Like 3 deep.
Whoa.
Right.
Well, they saw that Nissan and they were like, "This is a badass right now." I need backup. You see that Xterra? I can't handle this guy by myself.
But we hear the cops talking to the guy. The guy's still talking about how he's looking for a dog, and the cops, I don't know what the conversation was like, but they basically told the guy to leave. And so as the guy gets in his car and is driving away, he's like cursing at us, like, "Go the F back to California, blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, what is going to happen? And the cops stay there for like 10 minutes longer.
About 10 minutes. Oh, by the way,
didn't talk to us at all.
Didn't even come to the car and say, "Hey guys,
nothing.
Can you come chat with me for a minute?"
Yeah.
Nothing.
Because they saw this guy and they went, "All right, Fred, what is it this time?"
Yeah,
probably.
It's not their first time talking to that guy.
Did you lose the dog again? This dog that doesn't exist again? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the cops drove away, but I mean, I didn't sleep that night. I was afraid the guy was going to come back.
Yeah, the rest of the night was just a wash at that point.
Yeah.
So meth has made it to Ohio.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if again, 120,000 miles, 3.5 years, if that's the one,
That's the
I mean,
Yeah.
we get that in the Walmart parking lot in Fontana. Like that's.
I was gonna say that just means that they've never been to Hemet.
There's plenty of places in California that happens in broad daylight. Like that's
just normal.
I can't believe that only happened to you guys once.
Yeah.
We don't stay in Walmart parking lots.
We try very hard to stay away from the cities, and that's a national park that's in the middle of a city.
Oh yeah.
So you get the good with the bad, unfortunately.
What's been your favorite place?
Oh, that one's actually pretty easy for us.
Big Bend.
Big Bend National Park in Texas. Yeah,
why is that one your favorite?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I liked it because you get everything there. Like when we were there, when we were hiking up to, what is the? I forgot.
It's the highest point. Chiso Basin.
Chiso Basin Mountains. It was snowing, so we got winter there. Then we drove down on River Road, and that's the desert. And then
so it was 80 degrees down there.
Oh wow!
And then we also did a day trip into Mexico. Now Enoch rode a donkey, and he did not look appropriate on that donkey.
I just want to say, the donkey looks like I'm riding a child's bike. Like my feet were basically dragging on the ground as this donkey was taking me to town.
That's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
I just recently watched I'm trying to think of what city it was. I was just watching matter of fact, I sent it to all you guys. A documentary where there's a city in Texas you can go that's literally on the border, and you go through a gate, show your passport, you can walk across the river.
Yeah, I've seen that, dude.
And
get
have
some
breakfast,
tacos and
have
elote.
breakfast, whatever, and then come right back. Like, I want to do that
on a canoe ferry.
What was the name?
Yeah, Boquillas.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, that's what it was.
That's the one that's on the other side of Big Bend.
Yeah.
Is it okay? So we got to go to Big Bend and then do a day trip down into Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's only 2 restaurants there and 1 bar.
There's Boquillas del Carmen.
Yep, that's it.
Oh wow, that's right there by Big Bend. Because I mean,
the only way to get there is to go through the Port Authority right there in Big Bend, and it's literally one metal detector in a little bitty shack, and there's like 2 guards there, and they leave at like 5 o'clock at night.
And you're like, yo, I'm gonna go get some tacos. I'll be back.
If you don't make it back before they leave, you can't come back until the next day.
Yeah.
No, really.
Otherwise, they could fine you. Yeah, they could fine you for crossing the border illegally.
So can you? So you can't drive across at that point. You have to walk
No,
through that.
Yeah,
you have to walk. Yeah, there's no driving in that area to Mexico. There used to be, but they tore that bridge up a while back.
All right. So it is.
Put it on the calendar, dude. We'll go.
I was just gonna say.
Best time to go. Highly recommend wintertime, December, January, February. March is really good too because sometimes you'll catch the blooms, but it starts to get pretty hot in March.
It is a 17-hour drive from here.
It's not bad.
Easy peasy.
I'm out.
Well,
I'll see you there in a couple days.
Yeah, it takes 17 hours to get to the Coliseum from here. Like that's in LA. Like it's the same amount of time. But I mean, yeah,
I'm not going there either.
Yeah, you could totally do a trip out from here out to Tucson, spend the night like in South Arizona, and then from there go in the next day.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful down there. So beautiful.
The once you hit, so it sounds like in the next 12 months or so, you've got a quote plan to hit all of those national parks.
Yep.
what happens next?
All right. So this one's actually a big one. So spring of 2024, we are going to start the Pan American Highway,
Oh,
going from Prudhoe Bay all the way down to Ushuaia, Argentina. So this year, part of what we're doing this year, while we're also completing the national parks, is also trying to, kind of drum up excitement and to what we're going to be doing in the future, and hopefully, make some good partnerships and things like that, so that way we can actually afford to do this trip.
that's amazing. How long is it going to take you to do?
We are planning for 1 year. So it's about 18,000 miles down, and then to go back up, you're looking at about 13,000 miles to get back into the States.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes, but as we go down, we'll make it all the way down to Ushuaia, Argentina, and then at that point we will kind of see how everything's going, and maybe we'll go over to Africa next.
At any point, I mean, like, is there any chance you're going to get down into Venezuela or Panama and go, we're good, this is it, this is the place, we're going to stay?
Yeah, maybe.
No.
No,
I do not want to live in the Amazon where it's 100 degrees year round. I have no desire in that. But it's going to be beautiful and amazing to visit.
I'm just like,
yeah, but do you think there might be a place?
Is there a place? Yeah, is there
like,
all the places you've been? Like, is there a place where you're going to go? Yeah, this is where we're settling down right here.
I hope to find that spot.
Yeah.
No, okay. Let's put it this way then: if you had to settle down today, out of all the places you've been, and you had to pick a spot, what spot is it?
Oregon.
Oh,
Central Oregon.
I could see that.
Right along the right along the mountain range through Central Oregon. Love that area. Just absolutely amazing.
I've spent some time up in Oregon recently, and Expo PNW was right outside of Bend, and it was gorgeous. It was absolutely gorgeous. The scenery was gorgeous. All the towns were cool. The weather in July was awesome. I don't know what it's like.
The Sunshine State.
Yeah.
You have to be on the eastern part of the state.
Yeah,
Don't go to the west.
I talk a lot of trash about Portland and constant rain, but once you get on the other side of the mountain, it's very much like the Inland Empire. It's very much like desert on this side, mountain on this side. Like it's a much more temperate climate and not cold and rainy constantly. I could see that. I really thought it was beautiful, like Bend, Redmond, that whole area up there.
Yeah. There, and then Medford area is also kind of the other area we're looking at. Like, but those are that we met a lot of amazing people there, so that's also a reason that it kind of drew us toward Oregon. Yeah, and Eugene also. Like, dude, the place is beautiful, but a lot of it is the people that we've met there that kind of solidified it for us, because if we were able to meet all these different people from all these different cities in Oregon, and they were all very much alike in their openness and their thought process and stuff, so it was nice to kind of go in and have conversations with these people and not look at us as if we're a bunch of like dirtbag vagabonds,
weirdos, homeless weirdos running around the country.
Exactly.
Well, I think you're homeless weirdos running around the country, and
I'm
super jealous.
Damn hippies.
Super jealous. You are. I mean, seriously, like, I think that there is a large percentage of society that is like, especially in the last 3 years, that's like, F it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go see what the world has to offer. I don't need all this stuff. I'm going to sell it. And 24 hours later, they're back at their cubicle. Like, and I'm one of those people, and I'm putting me in that. You know what we're going to do? We're going to live on the beach right after I go to work. Like, that's, and I think that there's a large a portion of the population that wants to do this, and for whatever reason, hasn't pulled the trigger, doesn't have the confidence, is fearful of what's out there.
Can but hasn't.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you guys are doing through telling your stories is showing people that it's possible. Like this is look, you're not special forces trained survivalists. You're just a couple people that decided to do this, and now you're doing it, and you're living on $1,500 a month, including gas.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
That's
and it took a while for us to learn what it takes to do this. Like when we first started, we were eating mac and cheese and canned beans and hot dogs and the things that we thought you would eat.
I love all those things.
Yeah, sounds fantastic.
That
Stop
sounds
by my
fantastic.
house, please.
I ate that, and I don't even.
Maybe, yes, that's what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight. I don't understand what you're saying.
Throw
three
some weeks
peanut butter
in,
and jelly in there, and I'm a happy camper.
I have some peanut butter and jelly. You want some?
Nice, I do.
Good.
I always want peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, that's been one of the probably on top of all the other learning curves, of course. When you go into a lifestyle like this, it's so different than what you're accustomed to. You really have to figure out new ways to accomplish what you used to do. So you used to go into a kitchen, have a full stove, a sink, and all that, and be able to cook up this whole big meal. So now, how do we do that in one pan? How do we do that with a sink that's a quarter the size? So it's you get used to it in a sense, and then you figure out the best ways to come up with the best foods off of that what you have.
When he first put the sink in, I used up all the water.
What do you mean it's not
so
endless?
Oh my goodness, man. I had 13 gallons of water gone, no exaggeration, in 30 minutes.
I was just very excited to have a sink.
That's funny. And I think between your YouTube and your Instagram, so we haven't mentioned it yet. Well, I think we did earlier, but go to MoLeisureXVentures on Instagram and on YouTube to follow all of this amazing stuff. I feel like there is a whole nother level of your experience to be shared with the community. So going back to that population that wants to do this and doesn't know exactly how, guess what? Yep. You've got there's a book, there's a blog, there's a YouTube series, there's a seminar at PNW.
Yep.
You guys are living examples of what you can do in a vehicle and for how long and what kind of life you can have. It's not, you're not, it's so fun. Like you hear about, they're living out of a car, and that's usually seen as they must have fallen on hard times.
Right.
Or not.
But that's not, it's like you're living in a car because you're experiencing so much life outside of this, a geographic location that you're not bound to. And I feel like you're already inspiring people to do that, but there's so much more there that you could be like, all right, at Expo PNW, we're going to do a full series of 3 days.
How little water you actually need.
This is why you don't use 13 gallons of water.
How to make 13 gallons of water last.
Disappear.
Right. So on that note, this year we will be teaching classes at Overland Expos.
Look at that. Nice. I can see the future.
Yeah. So we're going to be teaching some classes on national parks.
Okay.
Kind of a basic overview of how to engage with the national park services and just everything around visiting them as a whole. And then we will also I will be doing a class on aluminum extrusion, how to build with it and how to utilize it in an overland build. And then we're also going to be doing a class on the rooftop tent, how I modified it and kind of created the pop top Nissan Xterra that we have today.
Here's how to use a Sawzall.
Amazing.
I use an angle grinder exclusively.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. I'm partial to the angle grinder over the Sawzall as well.
and this is how you use 15 tubes of silicone. Just to make sure. Guys, that's amazing. Like, I love this. I love that you guys are doing this, that you had an idea, you struck out. I mean, like not struck out like you struck out, like you struck out into the world. You went out in the world to do it, and over time, it has become, it seems to me, as fulfilling as you expected it to be. And
Absolutely.
to the point where you're planning the next trip, you're not even done with this one.
Correct.
That's
100%.
That is. Go ahead.
Oh, what I'm finding is like for what we started with the national parks, it has become essentially a training session for the Pan American Highway. Then us doing the crossings into Mexico for months at a time, coming back, how that is, what that feels like. At the border, you have to basically release yourself and let them do whatever they want to do to the car.
Grease some palms.
Yeah, I've tried to do that multiple times in my life, and no one has taken me up on it. I'm just I feel super bad about it.
Like, whoops, I didn't mean to say that to you. My bad.
What's funny is I've told this story. We did a family road trip, and we went over the Hoover Dam, and I pull up, and the guy's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Rooftop tent." He's like, "Open it up."
Dude, I had that same thing happen at the Hoover Dam.
He's like, "Yeah." When I told the story, I was like, "It's a rooftop tent." He's like, "You know it's a rooftop tent. I don't know.
That's a WMD.
Yeah. He's like, "Open it up."
Yeah.
All right, man. So I've fully opened my rooftop tent, open it up. He's like, "What's that?" I'm like, "That's a giant box of camping gear." Open it up. Oh my. Yeah. And like,
maybe you got some surface to air missiles in there. I don't know about.
Right. And I mean, he's doing his job, right? I mean,
that's a box of camping.
That's exactly but he's doing his job. But it was like, I did not, for the life of me, expect to have to fully deploy my tent and open things up at Hoover Dam. At the U.S. border, okay,
yeah, but
it's something you got to be prepared for. And I'm pulled off to the side with my wife and daughter in the truck, and thousands of cars going by, and I'm like I'm like that jackass on the side of the road that they're like people are thinking that I'm I'm a Unabomber as they're driving by.
Right. What did that guy do?
Yeah, exactly. It's a super weird experience, and I did not expect to have to do that.
You should have said, "I know you're an idiot. You don't know you're an idiot."
No, again, the guy was super nice. He was super nice, man. And he was doing his job, but I did not expect to have to do that.
I gotta say, so when we went to the Hoover Dam, we had the exact same experience. They pulled us off to the side. They wanted to know what's inside the tent, and I am not the best at handling people who want to exert authority on me. And so when that happens, I go back at him.
Yeah.
So every time he asked me to open something, I'd be like, "Really? You really need to look inside that box? Like, what do you think's inside that box?" "Oh, I don't know what's inside that box." And I looked and I said, "How about you open it up then? If you want to open it, then you open it." He's like, "I can't open it. You have to open it." Well, then I guess we're not looking inside the box. If you want to look in it, then you look in it. If you don't want to look in it, then we're not looking in it.
I feel like I'm definitely more like him.
Yeah, because they don't have any legal bounds to invade my privacy like that, and I have a hard time with those kind of scenarios.
So you guys can't go back then. That's what you're saying.
Long story short, we're
not allowed to take any more damn pictures.
Yeah. And I'm like, you got a dog here. He's not unhappy. Like the dog knows that there's nothing in there but chili. Like what else? But again, that's probably one of those things that you've learned, and now you go around. You know what I mean? Like, you know where the shortcuts are to not have to deal with that.
Yeah, I go up Kingsman Wash and get on the backside of the Hoover Dam, and it's much more beautiful over there.
Yeah, I did not do that. It was very very weird.
It was probably a smart move on your part.
Well, Well, guys, look, I am super glad that my brother was drunk and ran into you and convinced you to come on this show.
Hey,
That's surprisingly 85% of our guests are booked that way. I want a podcast. Here's my card. Like,
Hey,
uh,
that bartender was mixing up some tasty drinks.
Mhm.
Yeah, you,
We were having a good time over
those
there.
things
Yeah.
were so strong.
I was in
Yeah.
bed. I was asleep already by that time.
You missed
Mhm.
out, man. That was a party and
I
a half.
did not miss out. When we're
Next year.
when we're
Yeah.
camping, man, 8:45 is my bedtime. That's
yeah,
No, that's
I'm
fair.
officially
I-
retired now too. So
yeah.
I like a 10 o'clock time. 10 o'clock
Yeah.
time frame. It's not too bad.
The first night I stayed up till like 11, and Casey sent me a text, and he was like, "What are you doing up still?" That's how bad. That's how lame I am. But seriously, I'm super glad that you guys agreed to come on the show, that we got the chance to talk to you and hear your story. Super inspirational. Really like everything about you guys. I would love to hear more. Have you guys come back on, in a couple months when you've hit another more, like you finish your Alaska portion, and come on and talk about how the training went at PNW, and stay in touch with this stuff. Keep us informed. We follow all your stuff on the social. And I'd love to talk to you guys some more as you do this. And if you make your way back into the devil's territory of Southern California, you let us know and we'll hang out.
I was gonna
sounds
ask
awesome.
like where you plan on being at the end of this month.
What is the end of this month? April, May.
April. So
At
We'll
the end of
be
April.
we'll be at Moore. Then we're going to Isle
Isles Royale.
Royale.
And then
And
Expo
then
West.
Expo West.
Okay.
That's May.
So you'll be out of like the West Coast
They won't be
by the end of
yeah.
April.
Yeah, they won't be.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, we'll be back. We'll be back to the West Coast, close probably a couple weeks before Expo West.
Okay, so June-ish.
all right.
Oh no, Expo West. That's
Expo
May.
May. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll connect. I would love to get out to Expo West this year. We have not been to that one at all.
It's a good one.
I got lucky enough to go to Expo PNW with work, and that was amazing. I worked my butt off, and I didn't get a chance to really explore, but it was a super cool experience, and I want to do it again. So if we're able to make it out to the Expo, we will let you know for sure.
Definitely, that'd be awesome to see you guys out.
All right, guys. Anything else before we let you get back to your awesome Moab trip in your freezing cold tent and living the lifestyle of the rich and famous in the pop top?
Well, with all of our classy things we have going on lately, I think we covered everything for today. So I think there's one more thing.
Yeah.
So something kind of cool that we like to tell everyone with our name. Mo is Delia's last name. Mo. Leisure is my last name. The X is for the Xterra, and Ventures for all the adventures that we're on.
Yeah, I was gonna early on. I was gonna ask that question about Enoch Leisure. Like, how cool? Like, I feel like you should be a character in a Will Ferrell movie. Like, I just feel like it's like one of those super cool names that's like too cool to be real.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. Mom and Dad totally missed the boat when they gave us our names.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh yeah. Casey and I have lame names. We're just lame. Like, there's no. My wife's brother, when she was like, "Yeah, I'm dating this guy. His name is Cody." My wife's brother was like, "Is he 8? Like, do you name somebody Cody unless you want them to always be 8 years old?"
Oh man.
I am 8 mentally. I'm 8. So
I mean, I would give you at least 12.
I'm a good
like
junior high. I've made it to
solid
junior high.
13.
Solid,
I
man.
peaked at junior high, and it's been all downhill from there.
Like,
All right, guys. Look, thank you guys so much for spending time with us tonight. We appreciate it, and we hope to catch up with you guys soon.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This was fun.
Night, guys.
Night.
Night.
All right, that's where we're gonna end the recording. Honestly, great conversation, guys. You guys are a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed talking to you guys. Your story's super inspirational. I'm really digging what you guys are doing. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So some housekeeping. What we're gonna do is I will edit this tomorrow night after work, and we will get it. We'll get it published, and it will be ready for download on Thursday morning. So
Okay.
Wednesday night, after I get it all edited and published, I will send you an email, let you know it's ready to go. I'll send you some social media images that we use to promote the show. Feel free to use them however you want.
Perfect.
And we'll continue driving people towards your social media and YouTube. I would love to find ways to help you with some of the stuff that you're trying to do with not only the national parks thing but Pan American.
Thank you.
I have some ideas that I can share with you offline. If I'd like to share some stuff with you, but we'll talk about it in another email. And
Perfect.
hopefully we'll get a chance to connect here in the next few months when you guys make it back down this way.
How's that?
Yeah. The reason I asked about we're doing a trip at the end of April, the 28th through the 30th. That's the reason I asked if you guys were going to be
28.
in
Yeah, Mojave. We're doing Mojave Trail.
Ooh.
Oh, I haven't done that one yet.
What?
Oh my gosh!
We've only done
You guys have to come with us.
part of
Yeah,
it.
we've only done part of it.
What?
That's
You've
what
done
we're gonna do.
120,000 miles and you haven't done the Mojave Trail? No, it's beautiful and fun and
I know, right?
That
Jeez.
pedestal was on.
120,000 miles isn't enough.
Right.
It is not. But
Losers.
if you're going to be back down the 27, 28, 29 and 30 of April, that's our plan right now. So if for whatever reason you guys end up down here, you'll have my contact information. You can just send us a message and we'll coordinate and meet up with you.
Cool. That sounds awesome. Yeah. I like
Awesome,
that.
guys. All right, thank you so much. We'll be in contact soon, and you guys be safe and have a fun trip at the safari.
Awesome. Perfect. Sounds good. And looking forward to talking to you more about your ideas.
Okay. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
See you guys.
All right.
Bye.
All right.
Break.
You got a potty break? Okay. I was gonna say we don't have Matt here. We don't have to worry about a potty break, but super cool, man. Super cool story. That I've always liked the Xterra, but theirs is just super dialed in, man.
Well, they live out of it, dude. It has to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I really wish that Nissan did more.
Yeah, they gotta step up their fucking game, dude. I don't know what they're doing.
Well, I mean, it's just not part of their core focus, I get. You know what I mean? It's like
But they've made so many iconic cars, like
the
a
Patrol,
lot, dude. Patrol. I mean, just
Navara,
the
Frontier,
Navara, the
Xterra.
Frontier, Xterra, like the Armada. Yeah, the Patrol. I'm sorry, and then like the old hard bodies that like the one he had, and then like just on the streetcar, they made the Skyline. Like, dude, that's probably arguably the best fucking JDM sports car ever made.
Yeah, the it's curious. I wonder if we should talk about this. We'll talk about it in a minute. I got an idea. We'll talk about, and that will lead into some of the other conversations. As soon as Casey's done going potty. Shy says, "Is the volume up?" Everybody earlier, someone said I asked if the sound was okay, and everybody said good. Perry says, "To be fair, Cody does look kind of shady. I do look kind of shady. let's be honest." Shy's already giving
All right.
shit back.
Yeah.
All right, 3.
Yeah, that's cool that they're doing it. Oh,
3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you to Enoch and Delia for joining us. Super cool. While Casey was on his potty break, Jose and I were just having a conversation to continue about the Nissan stuff, and they have made some epic off-road vehicles: the Patrol, the Navara, the Frontier, the Xterra.
Even the Pathfinder.
Yeah,
At one
the
point,
original
yeah,
Pathfinder, but it's not just off road. It's like
It
cars.
was
Like
well.
they've made some like very like groundbreaking cars. Like their stuff, like technology, like Skyline. You know, there are other performance cars. Like, dude, it's like the 300ZX, the 240. Like, I don't know. Like, they have all these high watermarks, but there's like giant valleys in between each one of them.
And I was gonna, before I stopped.
I ran into a dude with a Titan swapped front Pathfinder on 35s on Gold Mountain, like the same generation as my truck.
Was it a white
like
one?
that same Frontier? No, it was like a almost like a goldish. No, almost like a goldish.
Yeah,
like a bronze almost kind of. But that generation is badass.
I wonder if because if you look at the Nissan off-road, at least my perception of the Nissan off-road market outside of the U.S., it seems like they're way more into it in Australia, South America. Like it's a bigger portion of their business. I wonder if it's just the U.S. Like whoever's running the U.S. side of Nissan is like, nah, not into it.
Yeah, but everywhere else they're like powerhouse.
Yeah.
So I don't. They have their game plan like skewed. It should be the other way around.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're a powerhouse here. It's just nobody knows about it.
They're just.
Yeah.
You want to keep it that way.
Yeah. It's a secret. We want to keep it a secret. So again, super awesome that they came on the show and we got to talk to him about it. I'm digging that. So Matt's not here.
You guys are half as loud as me, apparently.
Yeah.
Turn you down. Turn us up. How's that? Is that any better? I think we.
How now, brown cow?
How now, brown cow? What if I bump this? What if I move this lever here? What happens?
Volume.
Volume. What is this? What is this thing that says volume? I was gonna say this weekend. Matt's not here because he's converting to a pirate. He's transitioning. He's transitioning to a pirate. He's got
pirate training.
Yeah, he's in pirating training. But Matt and I went to the Rodeo X Rigs on Sunday.
How was that?
Amazing. Like it was at Crown Toyota, way bigger than I expected it to be. Like the amount of people it took originally, they were like, Jason was like, just get there at 7:30. The thing starts at 8.
It was already crowded.
I got there at 7 and it took me till 7:45 to get in line into the parking lot and parked, and get set up. We got a chance to talk to a lot of good people. Very busy. It was just the two of us. Casey was doing stupid dad stuff, and Jose was
doing stupid
Jose stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute. But very, very good event. I wish that and they had reached out to me a while ago, and I was like, yeah, let's put it on the calendar. And kind of with so much stuff going on, I kind of like, all right, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I wish we had been better prepared and committed to it. So I'm hoping that we get the chance to go back again next year when they do it, and make it a full blown event, because I feel like it has the potential to be even bigger than it was, and it was pretty awesome. So Matt's currently a pirate. Jose is currently a left-handed paper hanger.
He's the second shooter on the grassy knoll with the one arm.
The Saturday, Jose,
the one-armed man.
Let's try to be nice here real quick. Saturday, as you guys know, last week we talked about Jose not coming back to the show ever again because he was going to die. Because Saturday he took his dirt bike out for the first time
ever.
Okay,
ever.
so let's back up, because I was at a baseball game last Tuesday. I wasn't on the show, so I don't know. So when I got the text message about Jose's catastrophic event, I was like, wait a minute, he actually did it. So you made a decision and you went and bought a bike?
Yeah, I bought a dirt bike. Oh, it's a dual sport, so it's a street legal. It's plated.
It's a street legal.
It's a street legal dirt bike.
Yeah. So
And that has a salvage title now, or what?
No.
So Saturday, last Tuesday, Matt was like, "I'm gonna try to get my dirt bike running, and I'm gonna go with you." We all knew that wasn't gonna happen. He didn't get the dirt bike running.
He did not get it. He
tried.
tried.
He did try. And so
Dude, I will roll the TTR 125 right behind you. I'll do it.
So Jose took the dirt bike out, and
Not alone with my buddy.
He was supposed to come with us on Sunday, this event.
Yeah.
Although at right around
it was like what, 3:00?
Right around 3:00 in the afternoon, Jose sends our group message a picture, and he says, "Well, this happened." And it is a picture of Jose's wrist.
No, I said first dirt bike ride in the books, but ended up in the emergency room, and everyone thought I was fucking around.
Oh, that's right. I missed that. First dirt bike in the books, currently at Kaiser in emergency room with dislocated shoulder. And Matt says, "Haha, April Fools."
And then
you send the picture of his wristband. I'm like, oh shit. So Matt and I spent a significant amount of time on Sunday.
What do you guys think happened? What do you guys think happened?
So I think
Whiskey throttle.
No. I think the day was going pretty well. Confidence was building.
100%.
Mostly flat stuff.
It was a fire road. It was off the 38 where the dam is.
Yeah, so
that's where we rode.
So mostly flat. Some uphill, downhill stuff. You know, nothing.
Wait, I'm sorry. Off the 38 where the dam is?
Yeah. Is that the 38? That's 38, right?
The 138.
The 138.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, like the back way to Big Bear. That's the 38, right?
Yeah.
No, that's the 18.
Oh, that road where the dam is.
Anyways, so
the dam is not anywhere near.
Okay, fuck the dam. I don't want to hear about the dam.
That fucking highway.
He was somewhere in Southern California, right? And I feel like
backside of Yucaipa.
There you go, Yucaipa. and so I feel like you were picking up speed little by little. Finally got it into like third gear. Came up over a hill, coming down, and came to a turn that was a little bit sharper than you expected it to be, and out of panic, locked up the front brake. The front tire washed out sideways, and you came down right onto your face and shoulder.
What did Matt say?
Matt, I think Matt said you over throttled. You over throttled. The bike spun out, and you ended up laying out with your hand this way.
I think that Jose's just a natural born rider. He was going for a gnarly tail whip off of this, and when he hit the jump, the lip gave out on the jump, and that's what sent him into a tumble.
So let me preface the story. So I've never been on a motorcycle until I took that riding class.
Yeah.
So I took that California Highway Patrol riding class.
Let me stop you right there. I tried to give you some riding background on Zen's bike out in the desert several times.
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Did you? Yes, he offered multiple times. Go for a ride. Take it for a ride.
Okay. Well, so I've never ridden a bike until that class, and then so I passed that class, and I ended up passing the written test. So I have a motorcycle license, which I don't know why they fucking give people motorcycle license with just those two things. Like,
I don't know why they give people driver's license.
So then I ended up buying that dirt bike, and then Saturday was the first ride I've ever fucking taken it on. So we rode from my buddy's house from Yucaipa to that trailhead, which was like maybe like 5 or 10 miles.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, I've never been on the fucking street on a dirt bike. I mean, it was like Foothill Boulevard, like Yucaipa Boulevard. But it was fucking sensory overload, dude. I was just like, holy shit, I'm on the street. I'm riding this fucking dirt bike.
There's nothing between me and that car.
No. Dude, there was like, big cushions. Like, I was looking at every fucking... dude, I didn't want to get fucking T-boned, whatever. But we made it to the trailhead, and then I didn't get out of first until after lunch, dude.
Yeah.
It was just first all the way up. Just, I was getting comfortable with the bike. We made it down to the fucking dam. You guys saw that picture. I posted a couple pictures.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I know. No. I know exactly. No, I know exactly which road.
Is that the 38?
That's off the 38, but that's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
that's not like the Big Bear Lake Dam. That's like
No,
that's an old ass dam. Yeah.
It's below Big Bear. Yeah. So I was not pushing the bike at all. Like, and then so we stopped at the dam for a little bit, and we were on our way back up to the trailhead. And I was getting really comfortable. I was like, "Fuck, dude, I feel too comfortable on this bike, right?" And then so that's when I decided to pop it into second gear. You gave me too much credit when you said by going to third.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude. Like I was like, "Fuck." And dude, even my buddy was like, "Damn, dude, like you got really comfortable," because I was like transitioning on the turns, and I was sitting because at first during the first part of the day I was sitting too far back in the seat. He's like, "Dude, you gotta fucking like put your nuts on that tank."
On the tank, yep.
And as soon as I did that, dude, it made sense. Like, oh shit, like you feel the bike pivoting. It was like a game changer.
It's so
dude.
funny. Like you ride.
It gives you more control over the bike.
You only
100%.
ride the front
You're
half.
controlling
of
the bike rather than the ladder.
Yeah.
You ride the front
your
half of the
seat
bike
could only
and
be like this,
yeah.
It could be like a little fucking banana seat,
Yep.
dude. That's all it really needs to be. But yeah, I was like, oh shit. So and then I started feeling it, and then that's when I popped into second. I wasn't like going fast in second. It was just going more speed now. So and then so we're coming up, and I came around an S turn. So I came up and I was like, oh fuck, I'm going too fast. I wasn't going too. I just had to slow down.
Yeah.
So I clutched in, I back braked first, and then, this is where I'm like, a lot of things should have happened before I made on this ride. I should have got to know the bike way better. The front brake on this thing, it's either on or off.
Yeah.
And then I fucking hit the front brake, and I fucking like tapped it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the brake locked.
Yeah,
the
it
tire
fucking locked up, and it just slid, like you said. It just slid from under me, and it felt like I fucking got kicked by a horse in my shoulder. That's all I knew, and I was just like, "Fuck." The bike, apparently the bike flipped. I don't know, but nothing broke on the bike, just the handguard, and the handlebars got a little bit out of line. But other than that, the bike's good. I thought I fucking dislocated my shoulder. But thinking back, as soon as I fell, I got up and I started like moving my arm, and I could raise it up and everything. So I'm like, I don't think it would have been, if it was dislocated.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have been able to do that, right? I started touching my collarbone. I'm like, dude, I think my collarbone's fucking destroyed. But now I was tapping it. I'm like, dude, if it was broken, there's no way I could have fucking done that.
Well, and a lot of time when your collar, well, I've never broken my collarbone, but I've seen it. When a collarbone breaks, you can physically see it or feel it. It's like rigid. Like you can rub your hand on it and go, yep, there's the break.
Yeah. But I was just in excruciating pain in my shoulder, and I couldn't lift up like my arm, right? So, but I had to ride the bike out of there, and it was like a fucking hour of just pain. My buddy took off to go get his truck and stuff, but I met him at the trailhead, and then
your buddy was like, "Oh my god, that sucks. Hey, I'll be right back."
I'm gonna go get tacos.
He stayed with me. He stayed with me. He's like, dude, are you gonna be able to ride like from the trailhead to my house? I'm like, I don't think so, man. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead, and then I'm gonna go get the truck. And
so he took off, went to his house to get the truck, and then came back to the trailhead.
Yep. But so that happened. That's how I felt. Like I pretty much just no experience. I should. And early in the day, up until there, it was the best fucking day ever.
How much fun did you have?
It was the fucking best day ever. I kept telling them, I can't believe people don't do this shit all the time.
Yeah.
Riding just a motorcycle and then on the fucking dirt, dude. I can't explain it. Like you have to fucking do it. Like Matt, the way Matt, it talks about it and you guys talk about it, it's for sure 100% like the best.
It is. It's
now imagine being like more confident in your skills and less afraid of crashing.
Well, yeah. So as soon as my buddy saw that I was confident enough to ride like the trail, he would fucking get on it. He would just roost out of there just so he can go have some fun too. And I would never even see him, dude. Like he was that fast. Like I was like, fuck, dude. I'm like, how the hell do you navigate? And he wasn't even pushing it, you know?
Yeah.
So I can only imagine like when like you guys out in the desert, out in the dunes, like
Mammoths, yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy, man. But up until that moment, dude, it was like the best day ever. I had fucking smiles ear to ear, bro. Like, it was the best, dude. It's the fucking best, 100%.
And you talk about sensory overload on the street.
Yeah, like I felt like everything was out just to fucking kill me, like on the street.
It is 100%.
100% of it.
But
It always is. Only now you don't have a shell.
yeah,
exactly.
the I think back to the time that Casey and I spent on the street bikes.
Yeah.
And you get to a point where I don't want to say that your senses get dulled.
No,
but you know what to pay attention.
You start learning. You start seeing patterns. Like, okay, there's a car coming out.
Yep.
He's not creeping out, so he's good. He's not moving anymore. You just see. You just start getting used to the.
Yep. Totally.
All that shit.
And doing 90 miles an hour with a car close enough for you to touch is like just a ride. It's like, you know what I mean?
Well, you look for pockets. Like when you're riding on the freeway, you're like, okay, it's a little congested, but I see that it's open up ahead. I'm going to do 150 miles an hour until I hit that pocket.
It's the truth. And I'm
like,
sure,
I'm just going to haul ass as fast as I can.
Yeah.
I'm going to get into this pocket, and I'm going to look to see. I'm going to navigate what's in front of me. I see there's another pocket up ahead, and then you're just kind of weaving through the cars and getting into a safe space.
Yeah, safe
weaving
space.
Through the cars,
and
getting
your,
into a safe
your
space.
escape plan, and then off to the next safe space.
Yes.
Escape route.
Yes. And I'm sure I've told this story a bunch of times. I think back to Casey and I were working on a bike, and we needed a part from Harley Davidson, and the only Harley that had it was San Diego.
Oh my god!
And it was like, it was like 4 o'clock, and they closed at 5 or something like that.
Dude.
And we all looked around and went,
We can make it.
We can make it. And the four of us, myself, Brian, four of us, myself, Brian, Casey, and his buddy Chris, in Eastvale, got on the bikes. And I'm looking on the map. It's 102 miles.
You guys fucking made it, dude?
It's 102 miles, and it's like it's an hour. It says an hour and 33 minutes. We made it in like 40 minutes.
Get the fuck out, dude.
So I'm not.
Dude, your average speed must have been like 110.
About. Dude, but the bike.
Dude, I rarely ever went under 100 miles an hour on the freeway.
On the freeway, because that bike, that R6 that I had, third, fourth gear, 90 miles an hour. You didn't even know it was running. It wasn't even trying. Like, you could do 90 miles an hour without thinking about it. And
if you were trying to do 65, if you were trying to do 65, the bike was just like
pissed.
Dude, what the fuck are you doing?
So thinking about that,
I was going 40 on the dirt bike. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna fucking die, dude. I'm gonna fucking die.
Thinking about that trip, and I'm gonna sound like a total lame ass, and I'm cool with it. You guys know who I am. So, like, the four of us would be flying down. So, this is 4 o'clock on the 15 freeway going down to San Diego. We're flying, and then we would come up to a patch of traffic.
Yeah.
And it was like jet fighters that just panned out, found different ways, and then, boom, we're all back in the same lane together.
That's fucking crazy,
And
dude.
that was some of the funnest days of my life, is like...
It's on a motorcycle.
So much fun. I love motorcycles. I would love to be on a motorcycle. I just have this fear... right now.
Well, if you ride like that, obviously, you fucking.
Well, I don't know that I can ride any other way.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Well, because
well, that's your baseline now.
at least for me, there's far more responsibilities than I had.
100%.
Like then. And then now you have someone doesn't have a dad.
Yeah. That's right.
Like
joking around.
You don't have to ride.
I can't.
Like that,
I'm not.
I
can't. You can't. Okay, but if you got a street bike,
and you're fucking just cruising it like at 50, you're like, dude, what am I doing?
You can go get a Harley. You can go get a Harley and be like, I'm out for a Sunday ride.
Yes.
You go get a crotch rocket, and you're like, I want to see how fast I can get to this place.
I think, dude, I am so glad I got this dual sport, because if I would have gotten a street bike, I would have fucking killed myself, just because of like.
I don't think so.
Lack of experience.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
like just on a bike.
No, I think you would have been better off.
Yeah,
you would have been. So I tried to tell you.
You don't have to manage terrain.
Yes, I would. If you had gotten and if I were to do a motorcycle again,
but for
Matt's
me,
not here. Yeah. If I were to do like a cafe racer, a little 400, 500 cc naked bike as a Sunday, we're gonna ride down to downtown Temecula and have breakfast kind of thing. Like I could do that.
R1.
I know, but that's the thing. I couldn't get
all in.
I couldn't
Hayabusa.
I couldn't get another street bike like that because I would want to ride it like that. I'd have to get a bike that was topped out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But for me, it's just more of like, I already
Blazing
knew.
glory, man. I'm all in.
But for me, it was like I was already nervous because I didn't have any skill set on a bike, right?
Mhm.
But for me, the going off road on it wasn't. I wasn't like nervous on that part. It was actually came kind of. He was telling me like, dude, you're picking good lines and stuff. Maybe that's because we wheel. And
Yeah. Oh,
it has
translate.
something-
Yeah.
There's definitely some
100%.
translation.
He's like, dude,
there.
you're picking good lines. Like, because I kept asking him for feedback. Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I doing anything wrong? He's like, nah, dude, you're doing good. Everything. You're doing everything wrong. He just, he just said that you're sitting way too far on the seat. And he's like, dude, you got to fucking, like, nuts on that gas tank.
Mhm.
And when he said that, that's when everything started clicking. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, shit, yeah. And that's when I started getting more confident. But looking back on it, I should have, like, taken a weekend to get to know the bike, like just ridden around like in a parking lot,
Yeah.
practice a couple
So-
braking zones. and
Yeah.
shit.
So
Because
my
riding
buddy
on the
Chris had a street bike. He had bought a street bike,
Mhm.
and then he left. He went backpacking in Europe, and he stored the bike at Cody's house.
Yeah.
And he gave me the key because I told him, hey, I'm gonna practice on your bike. I'm trying to buy a bike. And so I would get off work. I would go down to Cody's house right there in Eastvale.
Yeah.
I would hop on his bike and I would just drive around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I didn't hit the main roads. I didn't hit
Yeah.
the freeways. I didn't hit nothing like that.
Yep.
And I learned how to ride a street bike just driving through neighborhoods.
That was my mistake. See, I didn't even do that. I didn't even
Yeah.
take it out to fucking go test ride it.
because it's going to sound counterintuitive, but riding a bike on the street is more forgiving than riding a dirt bike.
Yeah,
Meaning
because you the traction is a huge issue on the
traction,
dirt, dude.
braking,
Yeah.
timing. When you're riding around the neighborhood around a park, you know there's a stop sign coming
Yeah.
up. When you're on a dirt bike and you come around a corner and there's a rock in front of you, you're like, you need to react without thinking about it.
That's the thing.
And
That's
you
where-
don't get to that.
No, and that's my
Milliseconds.
problem. That's my problem. I have to think about braking and then putting
Yes.
the clutch in. Like
Yes.
that all has to come second nature before you even start fucking riding.
100%
Fast.
And I feel like I spent years on street. I had a dirt bike.
Yeah.
Got rid of the dirt bike. I rode it, I don't know, 5 times. Got rid of the dirt bike to buy the street bike. Rode the street bike for a couple years before I got another dirt bike.
Yeah.
By the time I got that dirt bike with a paddle on it in Glamis, I had thousands of miles of street
Yeah.
riding. And I could ride and react better than if I were to only had a dirt bike and only went out 3 times a year.
But that's why I wanted a plated dirt bike because I'm like, if I can learn how to, so that makes total sense because now I'm thinking like, if I start riding this thing on the street, like just learning, just driving it to work every now and then.
Working back, yeah.
But it just, you'll get to know the bike where it just becomes second nature, right? Like, where you don't have to think about fucking downshifting or trying to find the fucking clutch.
No.
Or I'm sorry, the shift pedal.
Yep.
Like,
and you can feel what the bike is doing and you know where you need to be.
all your gears broken in, like all that shit. Like, that totally makes sense. So I'll definitely have to be like riding on the street to make me a better rider on the dirt.
It does take time, but it doesn't take long. Like
Yeah.
I got my bike on a Monday, and that was my only mode of transportation. I rode it to work and back. That Thursday, I rode it to Laughlin.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Dude.
So let me tell that
You're
story.
Fucking crazy.
No.
man.
So, well, Casey, in Casey's defense, he had ridden Chris's bike around the street a bunch of times.
I practiced. Yeah.
He was working for me at the bike shop.
Yeah.
And
see,
so
that's where my mistake was made.
No, I
didn't
was not. Cody, I was still at the telephone company.
Oh, that's right.
I
That's
didn't ride this thing for shit.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
that was my mistake. I didn't take it out.
How did you get it home?
Huh? It's
How
not.
did you
It's
get
not
it
at my
home?
house. It's not at my house.
No, he had his buddy
No,
go pick it up
but
and drive it home.
did you
for
ride
him.
it off the lot?
No. We loaded it up to my buddy's truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Casey's
No, I bought it used.
Casey's bike. He gets it
Oh, okay.
on a Monday. That third, because we had already planned on going on the Laughlin run.
Yeah.
He bought it on a Monday. Thursday, myself, Brian, Casey, and Chris, the 4 of us, we're going right. So from here to Laughlin, it's a 4-hour ride. Casey and Chris each had
No. It's a 4-hour ride in a car.
It's a 4-hour drive.
It took us 2 hours and 15 minutes.
So Casey and Chris both had 600cc street bikes. My business partner Brian had a Harley Road King 1700cc,
1400.
a 1400cc. Right. I had a Yamaha V-Star 600, a 600cc cruiser.
No, you had a 12. You had a 1200.
Nope, and not yet. I had the 600 on that one, and
So you're fucking pegged.
I am full fucking throttle trying to keep up. I'm like topped out at 95. These guys aren't even trying. I'm at full throttle, not even thinking about how fast and how hard and how much fuel I'm using. And we got to 20 minutes outside of Laughlin or whatever it was, and I was all, I ain't making it. These guys are all good. They're like on a half tank. I'm like, I'm on fumes.
I was laying horizontal across my bike.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you put your foot on the,
Like
on the back pedal.
in fourth gear. Just,
So
Like, this is fucking boring.
yes.
At 100 miles an hour.
So I literally coasted into a gas station, got gas, we got there. The next day, we had met up with some people, and we were in a group of 8 or 9 people, and we were going to breakfast. And the lady leading the ride was on a trike. So we're Casey knows we're driving, and we were going to go to this biker bar for breakfast or whatever it was, and she goes to pull in. And she couldn't get in, so she goes out and goes to the next lot and starts to pull into this dirt lot. She's on a trike. It's a dirt lot.
Yeah.
It's fine. Casey, for whatever reason, goes like just past her and hooks a hard right to get into this dirt lot and does a Jose. Front brake, front wheel, washes out completely.
No. I didn't even hit the front brake.
No, I'm just saying the front wheel. The front wheel washes out.
So soft.
The difference is, and I think this is the difference between a dirt bike and a street bike. You're so low on the street bike.
You just catch yourself.
He just put his foot down, and the bike just dropped. And I remember he looked up at me, and I was like, "Pick it up, pick it up, let's go."
Well, okay, no, yeah. So I turned because it was like everyone was making a right turn. So I turned, and it just hit soft sand, like it just buried, and went over. And then I looked up, like, oh my God, I just laid my bike down in front of 8,000 people.
Yeah, it's 48 hours old.
Yeah, I've had my bike 6 days, 4 days, whatever.
Yeah, but
I just put it down in front of 8,000 people. I mean, and we're literally, me and Chris were the only 2 street bikes in that entire. It's a Harley event.
Yeah, I mean, I was wearing a chest protector, and it had shoulder, but and a helmet, dude. Like, all that shit saves your life.
Yeah, but I mean, that chest protector and the shoulder pad is gonna stop. It's gonna keep the road rash. But it doesn't stop the impact.
So I've already started looking at like the RoboCop armor to start riding. I'm gonna look like Chris. What's his name? Captain America. Chris Evans.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look like Chris Evans, but it's just to be all protective padding.
Look, I'm a huge fan of the pads.
Yeah.
Like when we would go riding your bikes in Glamis and sand, it's so soft. Most guys are riding in shorts and I still wore.
I don't give a fuck.
I still wore my pads. I wore my neck collar.
I don't like after this fall. Like I don't give a fuck because it's hot.
Yeah, I didn't care. You're gonna go down.
Yeah,
I'd rather not feel it.
Let me give the highest chances of not getting injured.
Yes.
So yeah, 100%. I'm getting that fucking thing, but I'm 100% getting on that fucking bike. Like, dude, it's the best.
Sure.
It's the best thing fucking ever, dude. I'm totally hooked.
Good.
It's just
so I want to let me know, man. I'll get Zen's bike running, and Zen's bike will be Daddy's bike.
So
Zen's bike can't even move Zen.
But the good thing is that Jose can't get out of second gear, so I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. So you're good.
Zen's bike, for clarity, Zen's bike was my wife's bike. It's a TTR 125.
I will be in fifth. Jose will be in second.
I'll be good, dude.
So that TTR case, we went out riding. I was on my Cowie. Tammy was riding this TTR, and we were with a big group of people. We rode out to /X. And it was a big group of people, and as we came up to a fork in the road, some people started stopping, and someone stopped super quick in front of Tammy, and she did a Jose. She locked up and washed out and smacked her head. She didn't hurt herself, but she smacked her head pretty hard. And after that, she was like, "I'm good. I don't want to ride for the rest of the day." So my Kawasaki was brand new, and so one of my buddies who's a good rider was in his side-by-side that time. So he got on my bike and I rode the TTR from /X all the way back to Dale Evans Parkway to the road, right? And two things I remember from that. I felt like Pee Wee Herman. Like I had that thing pegged and I'm literally like standing up full to get over dunes. Yeah. I mean, over whoops.
Speed bumps?
Yeah. It was fun as shit.
Yeah.
And so I'm riding, and the guy that's on my bike is a 10 times better rider than I am. And at one point, and he was so far ahead of me.
Rooster tails fucking everywhere.
He's way far in front of me. And at one point, I come catching up, and I was like, how come I've caught up to him? And the reason I caught up to him is because he dumped my bike on the way back. Awesome. But that little TTR, man, it's a fun little bike. And
yeah. So I ended up at Kaiser Emergency in Ontario by my house. No brakes, just AC joint sprain, severe. And apparently not much they can fucking do with that. It kind of just has to heal on its own. I may have like a deformity on my shoulder, like because when the tendon heals back.
So is it it's a tear?
Yeah, like the tendon's torn.
Okay.
I have a follow-up with the orthopedic.
Yeah, that's the surgery I had in 2019.
Yeah.
But at that point, there's like 5 tendons that hold your shoulder together.
I mean, like I said, I can still raise my arm and stuff. It just fucking hurts.
Yeah, because
I'm going to tell you right now, Jose, I'm pretty sure that I don't have any of the 5 tendons in either shoulder.
That's what I was going.
And I do okay.
Okay.
There's 5 tendons that
even if I have just like 3
of the 5,
like a
motherfucker.
Two, I had none. So the one the doctor said, which the one I know, I remember hurting it playing ball. And he's like, yeah, that one was gone a long time ago. Like, you can't even find it. And then he said that there was 2 of them that look like they've been torn for a while. And then when I fell on the mountain bike, he's like, you just blew whatever you had left. I had exactly 0 tendons holding my shoulder together, and I had to have surgery. But yeah, if they're like, yeah, your other 4 are good, they might just say.
Yeah, I think it was just the one that connects the collarbone to the shoulder. But I don't know.
It's like lug nuts, dude. If it takes 5 lug nuts, you're missing one, you're good.
You'll be all right.
You don't. It makes you lighter.
Right.
You don't need that one.
Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. Again, I'm gonna buy more protection.
And just take your time. Don't. I would
say
stay
help,
off
dude.
of the dirt until you. When you get to the point where you feel comfortable doing 65 miles an hour on the street, and you're not in sensory overload, and you can react to things quickly without even thinking. Okay, good. Then that doesn't mean you can't do a dirt road or a trail or whatever, but you have to be. It's a very different mentality.
Yeah, it's like I have to be like super baby steps, even more so on the dirt than on the street.
Yes, yeah. I always felt way more comfortable on the street than I did the dirt, and I've told you that. Like it's a very different feel for me.
Like I said, you're managing objects more than you're managing terrain.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you're just like, okay, I have to avoid this car and that car and kind of back and forth, rather than, oh shit, there's a boulder or a rut or
But on
whatever.
Going back to that, Casey, on the street, I really feel like it's easier to manage even that. So I would.
That's what I'm saying. It's easier to manage.
No, what I'm saying is when I first got my bike, I would come home from work. I would wait till after dinner, and I would jump on my bike and go for a ride in the neighborhood in the evening. Less traffic, nobody around. Like I'd wake up early in the morning and go run to get donuts or something. You know what I mean? Like you can go. I can go in this area at this time. There's no traffic, and really get comfortable with it.
So just from my fucking 20 minutes on the road and then a few hours on the dirt, like the road itself on the street is less of a factor you have to worry about than the dirt.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with all that other shit too on the dirt,
100%.
but also the road too.
Yeah.
Because
that's exactly what I'm saying.
There's washouts. There's fucking whoops. It's not a consistent.
No, you don't know what's coming.
Yeah. So. But yeah, man, like I said, hopefully I'm not too banged up, like permanent damage.
Oh, you've got permanent damage, but you had that before you got on that bike. Did they give you any idea of how long you'll be in that sling?
They said 7 to 10 days.
Well, that's not bad.
And then follow up with ortho to see if anything else needs to get done. But I can move it around, so I don't know. I don't know. I can move it up and down and stuff.
Here's my idea. Since you have functioning eyes,
yes,
and Matt has functioning shoulders,
dude,
you guys can ride together. You tell him where to go, and he'll steer.
But yeah, man, I definitely want to get back on the bike as fast as I can, but definitely gonna take the approach of getting to know my bike first a little bit better before I start fucking even, pushing it even remotely harder on the dirt.
Yeah, it takes time, dude.
It sounds like you got the beans with the Frank.
I did.
It definitely takes time. It takes a lot of repetitions to build the confidence. Like when you asked me if I would pick up the bike, I was like, yeah, I can pick up the bike. In my head though, I'm like, I haven't ridden in 6 years.
Yeah, you're like, oh, fuck.
I'll do it. But
you're not.
I'm going to be like
confident.
25 miles an hour. I'm going to get. You know what I mean?
It's a fucking brand new bike. You don't know it.
Yep. Whereas when Casey and I were working on at the shop, we had different bikes in there all the time.
Yeah, but you were riding all the time.
Exactly. You would just jump on a bike and ride it. Yeah. It didn't matter.
But your skills were up to par. It's not like you guys were taking months in between rides.
No.
No.
Yeah.
You fix the bike and take it for a test drive. How'd it feel? Yeah, it felt good at 100.
Yeah. It did not blow up.
It pulls a little to the left at 120.
But I'm very glad that you got the chance to experience the fun stuff before you got hurt.
Yeah, dude, it's totally awesome. Riding a fucking bike is the best.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work in the dirt.
It's a lot of work on the street too, dude, because you gotta you just gotta know.
That's because of the type of bike you got.
Yeah.
No,
and the type of tires that are on that bike.
I know, but I'm just saying just for shit that you gotta learn to be aware of too. From never riding a bike to being able to ride on the street, dude, that's a fucking steep learning curve because you're not used to all those inputs coming your way. So
eventually you stop paying attention to them.
Yeah, well, because you just recognize the patterns and all that shit. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I need to get back on the bike.
250cc cafe racer for $3,000 in Santa Monica.
Go ahead, dude, take it. Show me how to ride.
I would probably kill myself.
You got a TTR. I'm ready to go.
That's so funny. I don't know if I could actually ride a dirt bike again. Well, I'm glad Jose is not dead.
I didn't die, so I mean,
it's a successful weekend.
The death pool. Whoever had, I don't know who had what square in the death pool, but I don't know. And who had the square after lunch? The crash happened.
I won the this is what happened scenario.
Yeah, you were pretty. You gave me too much credit though, saying popped into third.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. And we hope Matt had some eye surgery today. Shouldn't be anything major, but hopefully he's good. And we see him next week.
And thank you to everyone that reached out on Instagram. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for your best wishes
And in closing, I wanted to bring something up real quick. I got a message at 6:15 right before we went on to the air.
Okay.
And it's a super insightful thought, and it's from our friend Nicole.
Okay.
I feel like it's not.
And Nicole sent me this picture of a stick of butter.
Oh.
And she says, I just pulled out this stick of butter and thought, why is it long and skinny? Normally it's short and thick. And then I laughed out loud to myself and immediately thought, I hate those guys.
The corruption has
we have ruined Nicole. She will never, ever be the same. And I am so excited about it.
I mean, dude, we didn't even talk about today's 4x4 day. And then today the Tacoma got teased.
Yeah, I saw that. Whatever.
Yeah. A lot of shit happened.
A lot of shit happened, but it was more important to talk about your dirt bike. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for hanging out with us in the chat room. We appreciate it. And thank you for listening every week. And I'm glad Jose is not dead. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Zang.